Hello, Kyle here. I wanted to send out this brief video update because there have been some big things happening here at seminary. About a month ago, on October 23rd to be exact, I was admitted as a candidate for holy orders. In other words, I was able to make a visible and recognizable step in my journey towards ordination, to the priesthood. Two other seminarians from my diocese, David Cruz and Curtis Seidel, also were able to receive candidacy. All in all, 14 seminarians from 8 dioceses from across the country joined us in making this step here at the seminary. So now you're probably asking, what exactly is this candidacy thing that you speak of? Well, externally speaking, admission to candidacy is a simple ceremony in which the soon-to-be candidates are publicly called, examined by a bishop, and then accepted. For us, candidacy took place in the context of evening prayer, which is what we normally pray as part of our discipline of prayer. It involves the Psalms and involves readings. Granted, because this was a special occasion, it was much more formal. The actual admission to candidacy starts when a deacon calls the names of the soon-to-be candidates, organized by diocese.
From the Diocese of Spokane, David Michael Cruz. Present. Kyle Gabriel Rodriguez. Present. Curtis James Seidel. Present.
After we have all been assembled in front of the bishop, we have a dialogue in which the bishop asks us about our resolve, our commitment to continue on in our formation towards ordination.
In response to the Lord's call, are you resolved to complete your preparations so that in due time you will be ready to be ordained for the ministry of the church?
I am.
And are you resolved to prepare yourselves in mind, heart, and spirit to give faithful and compassionate service to Christ the Lord and his body, the church?
I am.
And then, right after this dialogue, the bishop, acting on behalf of the church, accepts our response with these words.
The church receives your declaration with joy. May God, who has begun the good work in you, bring it to fulfillment. Amen.
Now, what does candidacy actually mean? On one hand, I'm not ordained yet, but the reality of me being ordained next spring, that became quite real. And part of it was that I actually was able to verbally and publicly declare my desire, my resolve to work towards preparation specifically for ordination and for the service of Christ and his church. And that's some heady stuff. That's some big stuff. And even more importantly, the church, as represented by the bishop, affirmed, acknowledged, accepted this commitment. So in some ways, for lack of a better analogy, it's kind of like engagement. And at least that's one way I could try to make sense of it. Because, and after all, there is some truth behind that common phrase of how priests are married to the church, right? So taking seminary formation, I entered and there was a process of discernment. There was a process of testing. And yes, there was a level of commitment there in order for me to do this properly, but there was still, there was this openness. There was always this questioning. And now moving on as approach ordination, there has to be this point in which I have to make this choice. And like, okay, I've been doing this for so long, I've tested this out, and I'm making this choice to study specifically for the priesthood, to dedicate my energies into this. And I guess that's kind of what happens at candidacy. It embodies that. Obviously it's a ritual, so for some of the men, that internal moment may have happened much earlier. But still, there's something significant about this event. And granted, like engagement, that could be broken off. This is not set in stone. It's not for sure that I'm going to be ordained. Some, God forbid, unforeseen thing could happen that would prevent me from being ordained. But that's where it stands. This is the trajectory that's being followed. And anyway, that's just enough of me just trying to be hypothetical and theoretical and all that. So right now, I'll step aside and allow myself from a month ago to give his reaction.
Thanks, Leo.
Hi Kyle, you're live. How does it feel to be a candidate?
It feels right. It feels right. I mean, I think it's something I told myself I was ready for, but last year. But I'm glad it's here. It's a little surreal. To the prayers, the evening prayer was like for me and for the rest of us. That was pretty cool.
Well, and there you go. That is candidacy. 3 of us for the diocese were accepted as candidates for holy orders on October 23rd, 2013. One more step to making that commitment of service. It's been a rather busy semester since then. I mean, the actual ceremony took place on a Wednesday night, so that's kind of why it took me a while to post this video, but now it's up. I hope you found this interesting, or at least informative, and as always, please pray for me as I continue on my journey, and I'll be remembering you in my prayers. God bless.